It's the story of Van Halen on the Album Network with your host, Tommy Nast.
Well before Van Halen became a band, Eddie and Alex needed to get one thing straightened out between them. Who was going to play guitar and who was going to play drums?
Our parents wanted us to be classical pianists, like Vladimir Horowitz, to be true, whatever. And at around the age of 12, we got into rock and roll. Beatles, Dave Clark 5, and I love Dave Clark 5, so we used to have the cardboard boxes, and we used to bang on those things. And
the empty ice cream tubs that they used to have at 31 flavors.
And also the model car boxes. Yeah. We'd leave some of the plastic in it to sound like a snare. Yeah. Well, from there, we obviously my mom and dad were pretty uptight that we kind of lost interest in piano. So they convinced Al somehow to take flamenco guitar lessons, which is still respectable. I bought myself a drum kit. $125 St. George Japanese drum set, paid by having a paper out. While I'm out doing the paper job, Al was playing my drums, and he just got better. And drums came natural to him, whereas it was work for me.
Now here's my version.
No, I'm just saying, guitar came natural for me, and drums came natural for Al, so it was a logical thing.
When I played guitar, I could play the chords, I could read, I could do the strumming, the rest of the thing. But to me, there was no connection with the instrument. To me, it was just a piece of wood with vinyl strings on it. Ed picked up the guitar one time, and I just heard him.
Well, that's the problem. See, I put steel strings on it. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it didn't take a genius to hear that Ed had a connection with it. And it's that simple. And of course, the part about the drum set and the paper route, sure, that was all true. But if it hadn't been for the fact that Ed had that connection with the guitar, it wouldn't have mattered.
If it hadn't been because he got better on the drums, I never would have played his guitar.
Okay.
With that issue settled, Eddie and Alex went on to form a three-piece band in high school, which is where a young bass player named Michael Anthony first caught wind of them.
I actually first heard about Eddie and Alex when I was in high school, and I was then playing in a band called Snake. And I remember there was a carnival that our high school would have every year on the football field, and their band happened to be playing, and they were called Mammoth. It was Eddie, Alex, and their bass player, then his name was Mark Stone. And Eddie was doing the lead singing, and they were playing Cream, and I remember them playing Grand Funk Railroad, and doing it like exactly. And I remember thinking, wow, check this guitarist out. He's playing the stuff note for note. They did like the whole Live at Leeds thing. And it was the first time that I actually ever saw those guys play, and I was pretty impressed by it.
About a year later, David Lee Roth had joined Eddie and Alex's band. They changed the group's name to Van Halen, and not long after, Michael Anthony got this phone call.
I got a call from Eddie and Alex one night, and they asked me to come over and jam with them. And I actually asked one of my brothers, my brother Bob, to come down with me, because I was nervous. Because these guys at that point, I had heard that they were playing Gazzarri's out in Hollywood, and I was playing. I mean, we were doing okay. I was just playing jeans and T-shirts, backyard parties, things like that, in high schools. I went and jammed with them, and it was in a little garage they were rehearsing it in Pasadena. And Roth was not there. It was just Eddie and Alex, and I set up, and we jammed and jammed and jammed, and I have a feeling they put me through every kind of beat change they could think of. And when we were through playing, they asked me if I'd like to join the band. And my mouth kind of opened up a little bit, and I went, sure.
Semi good looking in on the streets again. I stood and looked down. You know I lost a lot of friends there, baby. I got no time to mess around. So if you want it, got to bleed, boy, baby. Yeah, got to bleed, baby. You got to bleed, baby. Ha, got to bleed, baby. Ain't talking about love. The love is running to the core. Ain't talking about love. Just like I told you before. Ain't talking about love. Don't wanna talk about love. Don't need to talk about love. Ain't gonna talk about love. You know. Hey, hey, hey. 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 Hey, hey, hey.
What was it like going from Pasadena to like the Strip and taking Van Halen out in the clubs and doing like the whiskey and
good
Gazaris
traffic,
and
about
that?
half an hour, and bad traffic. No.
It was very strange because I'll never forget, Dave liked to think of himself as I would say like not a Bowie clone, but he dressed, with the clogs and the funny looking pants and the hair standing on end. So when we were in Pasadena, everybody thought we were a Hollywood band. Then we come to Hollywood, and of course, Ed, Mike, and I are in jeans and T-shirts, and they thought we were a Pasadena band. So you can't win for losing. You know what I mean? Just this, and we played.
We auditioned the Handlebar Saloon in Pasadena, our hometown club, okay? The first time they wouldn't hire us because they claimed that our audience was too rowdy. I mean, yeah, they were. I mean, I'll never forget, we played a backyard party once. It was written up in the paper. 19 people got busted and stuff, and
4 cop cars were turned over.
4 cop cars got turned over. I'll never forget. A group of guys took one cop. They took his handcuffs and handcuffed him around a tree. With his own handcuffs. But anyway, yeah, that was wild teenage. That was our audience.
But again,
and
nothing.
They wouldn't hire us for that. Okay, then we start playing Hollywood, and we come back, and then they say, "No, you're too Hollywood."
How did you guys build up a following in the early days?
Actually, when we were gigging, whether it be for a party or a club or whatever, we'd make up our own flyers, and we would just flyer the hell out of everywhere. I remember we'd promote our own shows at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, and we would draw, like, just on word of mouth and flyers, 5,000 people to these gigs. And we would go to, like, Aerosmith concert over at Anaheim Stadium, flyer all the cars. We'd say, okay, Ed, tonight you're going to hit Pasadena High School. Mike, you hit Arcadia High, and go over to Monrovia, and Dave, and Al, and we would all get our section, and we would go out and just flyer. And we really tried to build up a following rather than look for a record contract, because there became a point to where it was like all of a sudden, hey, it's happening.
At what point did you guys say, okay, it's time to get serious? We want to get a record deal. We want to
Never
be bigger.
Never. We were always serious about what we did.
Yeah.
The record deal, we didn't pursue a record deal.
We didn't know how.
Yeah, we had a couple of meetings here and there with people, with the
Gene helped,
breadsticks and that kind of thing.
But that didn't pan out. It was a year later that, after Gene tried to help us, that Ted Temple and Mo Austin saw us at the Starwood.
So what was it like when Mo and Ted came in? Did you know they were going to be coming that night?
No, we didn't know.
Did
Gene
they just
was
come
there
and
either.
surprise you? Go, hey, listen.
Yeah.
I want to work with you. Was it like
no,
that?
they were just real kind of quiet, and it was like, do you guys have a record
It was
deal? And I said, no.
It was 99-cent beer night, And
rainy Monday night,
and three people were in the audience, and 2 of them were Mo and Ted.
Did they really sign you the next day?
Close to it.
I live my life like there's no tomorrow. All I've got, I had to steal. We start on me to beg or borrow. Yes, I'm living at a place that kills. Ooh, yeah. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. Yes, I am. Yeah. You know, I found the simple life once so simple. No, when I jumped out on that road, got no love you call real. Got nobody waiting at home. Running with the devil. I'm running. Running with the devil. One more time. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. Running with the devil. I'll tell you all about it. I found the simple life ain't so simple. When I jumped out on that road, I got no love you call real. Ain't got nobody waiting at home. Running with the devil. I'm gonna tell you one time. Running with the devil.
I wanted to get your feelings on what it was like when you first heard yourself on the radio and what you were doing at the time.
I was told that they were going to play it like at 2 o'clock in the morning on, I think, what was then KMET, 94.7. And I stayed up, had my little clock radio, and I heard it. And I ran to your room, went, Al, we're on the radio! And it's still the same. Every time I hear us on the radio, it's the same thrill, excitement. It's like, I still feel like a little kid, like, wow, we're really on the radio.
And you still get the charge out of it today.
Oh, God, yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you remember most about the time before you guys really broke through and knew that you were going to be a big rock act? You know, when you're kind of in limbo, the first record just comes out, you're just getting, into that groove with, the Warner Brothers record deal. You got Ted Templeman comes in and produce you guys. What do you remember in the very early days prior to making it happen?
After the album came out, one thing I really thank God for is that it was a steady building process. I'm glad we didn't bust onto the scene like maybe a Boston or a band like that around that time where all of a sudden they're thrown into the stadiums and whatever, because I think we really appreciate the success a lot more. And gosh, I remember our first tour we opened up was supposed to be like 6 weeks opening up for Journey. we played all the Masonic temples and the small 3,000 seaters, and after a while it was almost like they wanted to kick us off the tour at the end of every week, and their people were telling them, no, you better keep them on the tour because I think they're selling a lot of tickets. They're doing good. But it was like a steady process. We were offered gigs, big gigs, and we refused most of them. Because we wanted to still just work on a solid following.
Recording of the first 3 records, it didn't take a whole ton of time. I mean, you guys were pretty much in and out.
Well, we had, even before the first record, we had so much material that at that point it's like, just kind of picking and choosing from that stuff. And like you said, for the first 3 albums, we had an excess of material that we were still like going through. Got to even think all the way up even to like 5150. We're still sometimes grabbing a little tidbit from here and there from a song that was back on the first demo tape that we did for Warner Brothers. So it was like it was very simple. Just run the tape and we just played it live.
Have you seen her? So bad and pretty, moving with a style and ease. And I feel her from across the room. Yes, it's love in the 3rd degree. Ooh, baby, baby, won't you turn your head my way? Ooh, baby, baby, come on, take a chance. You're old enough to dance the night away. Oh, dance the night away. A light wire, barely a beginner, but just watch that lady go. She's on fire, 'cause dancing gets her higher than anything else she knows. Ooh, baby, baby, won't you turn your head my way? Ooh, baby, baby, well, don't skip romance, 'cause you're old enough to dance the night away. Oh, dance the night
Let's go to Women and Children first for a minute. It's your 3rd record. You're off 2 multi-platinum records. What do you remember about recording this record? I understand
I
only
remember
took 2 weeks.
Sitting in the
For
basement.
2 weeks straight in Dave's father's basement. I got this Wurlitzer piano.
Through a Marshall
blazing through
amp.
my Marshall amps. And just every day, I would go in there. Boom, 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 boom,
For hours.
For 2 weeks.
We just, for
I'm going,
hours.
this is really cool.
But where's that next chord?
Yeah.
Where's that next
Go
chord?
find that chord. Boom. Like the 15th day, there it came, and it's just
Boom.
magic, But we pounded that song that riff,
into the ground.
Yeah.
just that chorus riff for 2 weeks straight.
But what's great about
I
it,
just couldn't find where. I didn't know where to go from there. And all of a
what's-
sudden, boom, it came.
what's great about it is it's like entrainment. You know, it's as old as shamans. It's as old as African drumming. It's as old as anything that people do to get themselves in a different state of mind. We would sit there and play that thing until we became almost hypnotic and didn't realize what time it was. 5 hours would go by and play the same damn thing until finally, like Ed said, on the 5th day.
No, it was more like 2 weeks.
Okay, the 15th day, the second chord came. That second chord is very important, you know.
That led to the verse, back to the chorus, and then to the solo, and then to the end.
That's right. And we kept it under 4 minutes.
Some new sensation. Well, the kid is into losing sleep, and he don't come home for half a week. You know, it's more than just an aggravation. In the cradle, we'll ride. Yes, the cradle will ride. And I say, rock on. Ooh. Rock on. Some local kid gets down, they try and drum him out of town. They say you could at least fake it, boy. Fake it, boy. At an early age, he hits the street, winds up tied with who he meets, and he's unemployed. Ow! In the cradle, we'll ride. In the cradle will ride. And I say, rock on. Have you seen Junior's grades?
Following Women and Children First came Van Halen's fourth album, Fair Warning, released in the spring of 1981.
Fair warning, and I'll give you my read on it. I watched Ed being creatively frustrated. And Ed probably worked harder on the music for that record than anybody had ever seen. Almost to the point where I felt guilty for even sleeping. I felt like, Ed, I should stay up with you just to suffer with you.
It just seemed like nobody cared. Or I would go down to the studio with Don Landy at 4 o'clock in the morning and do all my guitar parts. And I guess, you know, there was so much blow around that time that people didn't even know. That they thought that I did it that day, or, you know. But it just seemed like I couldn't do what I wanted to do during the day. So I snuck in at night and did all the guitar solos and all the guitar parts without anyone even knowing that I didn't do it when they thought I did.
Was there many tensions brewing between various band members at that time?
Yeah, I'd say starting so, because I met Valerie then, and Dave didn't dig that, because all of a sudden here I am in the Globe and all of the rags, which is totally not me. You know, I mean, it's like...
It's not like you go out and try to get those pictures put in there. You know?
We used to leave me alone, you know? It's kind of like the fame part was coming to me, which I don't dig. I just want to make music, you know, and it's what he wanted, and it just created tension. Yeah, it did.
Some leg tonight for sure. Tell us how you do.
Come on, Dave, give me a break.
Hey, one break coming up. Change, nothing stays the same. Unchanged, yeah, you hit the ground running. Changed, ain't nothing stays the same. Unchanged, yeah, you hit the ground running. Changed.
I'm Tommy Nast, and we'll have more with Van Halen after this time out on the Album Network.
Hey, Earl. What? I played Tammy Sue's song backwards. You won't believe what I heard. What? Here, I'll play it.
I found love in the back of a pickup.
Now, backwards.
Buy TDK cassettes now,
or your music will suffer.
That's the darndest thing.
Now during TDK's Fall Festival at Kmart, get a $3 gift check on various multi-packs of TDK audio cassettes. TDK, perfect reproduction.
Hey, Earl. What? Think we should tell Tammy Sue? What?
Oh, man, I love being the shark, checking out surfers.
Listen, kid, we're sharks, but you can't just go lunging at the first surfer splashing by.
Oh, there's one now!
Pass! He's not chewing Mint-a-Burst gum.
With flavor crystals?
Always hold out for flavor crystals.
Oh, here comes another one. Oh, he's getting
I'm
away!
telling you, Mint-a-Burst is worth waiting for.
Whatever.
I smell flavor crystals.
Share and share alike, right?
Sharks don't share. Get your own Mint-a-Burst gum.
Be careful with the Mintaburst, because everyone's going to want some. Mintaburst, bite the burst.
You know, you've got the whole world in front of you. There's the whole college thing, finding a job, building a career, and one other thing you probably haven't thought about. The one place you can go to do all those things and more. It's the Air Force. Think about it. In the Air Force, you'll earn a good salary, find the career that's right for you, and get most of your college tuition paid for. Why limit yourself to one class or one job? Check out the Air Force and get it all. For more information, call 1-800-423-USAF. Paid for by the Air Force.
I'm looking at John Lithgow's Discover card statement.
Go ahead, read it back. Paula Poundstone reviews John Lithgow.
Let's see here. The Bun Boy restaurant?
Bun Boy, yeah.
Probably a family name. Let's face it. They have buns?
Of course, it's a burger place.
Oh, when you went on your spending spree at the Bun Boy restaurant, did you have any idea that you were going to be earning the Cashback Bonus Award?
Sure.
You know what? Buns for everyone. I'm getting the Cashback Bonus Award at the end of the year.
Cashback Bonus Award is up to 1% paid yearly, based on your annual level of purchases. Discover card. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
It's a battlefield in your mouth. Millions of germs in combat against your gums. Traces of blood on your toothbrush. You may have the gum disease, gingivitis. Use Listerine. Listerine kills germs and helps prevent gingivitis. Turn the tide of battle with the power of prevention. Listerine.